The settlement of New Terra had been humanity's greatest achievement, a colony on the edge of known space where humans and the indigenous Drakari could coexist. The Drakari, massive dragon-like creatures with scales that shimmered like liquid mercury, had initially been feared by the colonists. But Kirsten Hayes had proven that fear wrong. She knelt beside the irrigation system on the eastern fields, her calloused hands working to repair a broken valve. The twin suns beat down on her shoulders, and sweat trickled down her temple. Alexander Chun worked beside her, his engineering scanner beeping as he analyzed the damage. Another sabotage, Alexander muttered, his dark eyes narrowing. That's the third one this week. Kirsten wiped her brow with the back of her hand. The mining consortium doesn't want us here. They want this land for themselves. Before Alexander could respond, a high-pitched shriek pierced the air. Both humans looked up to see a small shape diving toward them from the sky. A juvenile Drakari, no larger than a horse, its scales flashing brilliant sapphire in the sunlight. The young dragon crashed into the ground between them, its wings folding awkwardly as it stumbled forward. Its eyes were wide with terror, and it made a sound that was unmistakably distressed. Please. The dragon's voice echoed in their minds through the telepathic bond the Drakari shared with trusted humans. Please help. They're hurting my mama. The bad humans, they're hurting her. Kirsten's blood ran cold. She recognized this juvenile. Azurin, the offspring of Thessera, the Drakari matriarch who had first made peace with the human settlers. Thessera had been Kirsten's closest friend among the Drakari, teaching her their ways and defending the settlement from predators. Alexander was already on his feet, his hand moving to the communicator on his belt. Where, Azurin? Where is your mother? The crystal caves. The mining men, they trapped her. They're using the fire sticks that hurt. The young dragon's mental voice cracked with panic. Kirsten's jaw clenched. The crystal caves were supposed to be off-limits, sacred Drakari nesting grounds protected by the colonial charter. But the Helion Mining Consortium had been pushing boundaries for months, desperate for the rare iridium deposits found in those caves. Alexander grabbed the medical kit and the plasma cutters. Now, Kirsten's voice was steel. Kirsten, we should call colonial security. By the time they arrive, Thessera could be dead. She turned to Azurin, placing a gentle hand on the dragon's trembling snout. Take us to her. Fast. What happened next would be spoken of in hushed tones across the galaxy for years to come. Azurin carried them both on his back, his young wings straining with the weight, but driven by desperation. The flight took only minutes, but each second felt like an eternity. As they approached the crystal caves, Kirsten could see the massive drilling equipment, the armed guards, and her heart sank. Thessera, the magnificent dragon, was caught in an energy net, the kind designed for capturing megafauna. Her scales were scorched in places, and one of her wings hung at an awkward angle. 3 men with plasma rifles stood around her, while 2 others operated machinery that was drilling into the cave wall behind her. Alexander counted quickly. 5 hostiles, military-grade weapons. Kirsten, we can't. But Kirsten was already sliding off Azurin's back, her boots hitting the rocky ground with purpose. She strode forward, her voice ringing out across the canyon. Helion Consortium, you are in violation of Colonial Charter Section 7, Paragraph 3. Release that creature immediately. One of the guards, a scarred man with cold eyes, laughed. Little farmer girl wants to play hero? This dragon attacked our equipment. We're within our rights to defend company property. Lies. Azurin's voice screamed in their minds. She was protecting her nest. You came into her home. Thessera's weak mental voice joined her offspring's. Kirsten, run. They will kill you too. Alexander had moved to flank them, his scanner now modified into something else entirely, something he'd been working on in secret. Kirsten, ready when you are. What the consortium men didn't know was that Kirsten Hayes wasn't just a farmer. Before coming to New Terra, she had been a commander in the Human Defense Force, decorated for her actions during the Proxima Rebellion. And Alexander Chin wasn't just an engineer, he was a former Special Operations Tech Specialist. They had come to New Terra for peace. But they had never forgotten how to fight. Last chance, Kirsten said calmly. Release her. The scarred man raised his rifle. Stupid woman. He never finished the sentence. Alexander's modified scanner released an electromagnetic pulse that fried every electronic device in a 50-meter radius. The energy net flickered and died. The rifles went dead in the guard's hands. The drilling equipment ground to a halt. In the moment of confusion, Kirsten moved. Years of combat training flooded back into her muscles. She closed the distance to the nearest guard in seconds, disarming him with a precise strike and using the dead rifle as a club against the second. Alexander tackled a third, his fists flying. But it was what happened next that truly shocked the consortium men. Thessera, freed from her bonds, rose to her full, terrifying height. Her eyes blazed with fury, and her roar shook the very mountains. But she didn't attack. Instead, she positioned herself protectively over Kirsten and Alexander, her massive wings spreading to shield them. From the sky, the sound of wings filled the air. Dozens of Dracari, Thessara's clan, descended upon the canyon, summoned by Azurin's distress call. They landed in a circle around the consortium men, their combined presence overwhelming. But still, no dragon attacked. Kirsten stood before the terrified men, her voice carrying the weight of authority. This is what you don't understand about humans. We don't just fight for ourselves. We fight for those who can't fight back. We protect those who trust us. And when you hurt our friends, she gestured to the dragons surrounding them. You make enemies you can't imagine. The scarred man fell to his knees. We surrender. Colonial security arrived 20 minutes later to find the consortium men bound and waiting, guarded by dragons and two very determined humans. The illegal mining operation was shut down. The caves were secured, and Thessera, her wounds being tended by Kirsten's gentle hands, nuzzled her human friend with gratitude. You came, the dragon's voice whispered in Kirsten's mind. For me. Kirsten smiled, tears streaming down her face. Always. That's what family does. Young Azurin curled up beside his mother, his eyes fixed on the two humans who had saved her. And in that moment, the bond between human and Dracari grew stronger than ever. The galaxy would learn that day. Humans didn't just reach for the stars. They brought their compassion with them. And that was truly shocking.